welcome to summer treats for you and your pup. So today we are going to be doing a couple of recipes, things that you can share with your dog or your cat if your cat wants to eat these things. A lot of the things that we as humans can consume, such as salt and sugars, our bodies really just can't, not our bodies, dogs' bodies really just can't handle. They can't digest it, they can't hold it, all that good stuff. But there are a lot of things that humans eat that dogs should eat, and they don't like to. So for instance, my lovely dog, Ekomani, loves meat, loves sweets, but doesn't like to eat his vegetables. Right, Echo? Come here, Ekomani. Come here. Come here. Come on up. You want to go eat? Come on up. Come on up. Come on up. Not happening. He wants nothing to do with it. Come here. Come show everybody. Say hi to everybody. Say hi to everybody. So this is Echo. And he's going to be my co-star today. And he's going to get to try all the good treats that we try out today. Alright? But eating his vegetables, like Brussels sprouts, is just not his cup of tea. But if I combine it with some turkey or some butternut squash or even some sweet potato, then just maybe he'll eat it. So the thought here is to make things that we enjoy that also your dog or your cat will enjoy. So we're going to start right off the bat. On the stove behind me, in this wonderful dish right here, I have some sweet potato or butternut squash, either or will work. And then I have some tri-colored carrots, which I already cut up and put in my dish. So, look at that array of color. So, I put them on the stove, dice them up, put a little bit of water in there, and steam them just to get them soft. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and add some Brussels sprouts and some broccoli because they take a little bit longer to cook. The turkey is a ground turkey. It's going to take all of 2 seconds to cook. So we're going to go ahead and cut that up. So ahead, I have, my dog's already eating. He's already hungry. I have my Brussels sprouts here, and I'm just going to go ahead and quarter them. All I do for the Brussels sprouts is I take the ends off, so I don't find that that's really good to eat. And then I cut them in half, and cut them in half again, so I have a quarter. And I don't know how you guys like to eat your Brussels sprouts, but I like to roast mine. But for this dish, I'm going to put them in with my carrots and my sweet potato and that little bit of water and steam them first. And then I'll add a little olive oil, which is safe to use with dogs, or butter, either or. And then I'll just kind of give them a little crisp to them because I don't like soggy Brussels sprouts. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this dish on the stove and let it kind of cook in the background while we demo out some of the other awesome dishes. So again, I have broccoli and Brussels sprouts. It's just for me and the dog, so I'm not cooking a bunch. There's no limit to how much broccoli you put in or how much Brussels sprouts you put in or carrots or sweet potato. It really just depends on who you're feeding or how many you're feeding. So even just this little amount right here is quite a lot of food, and it's just for me and the dog, so there'll be leftovers. But I'm going to go ahead and put this in my strainer, and we are going to go ahead and cook this up. So give me a second, let me rinse my vegetables, and I will come right back and show you guys what's next. My veggies are rinsed. All I'm going to do is add them to this lovely container. I am cooking in a cast iron pan, and it has just a very little bit of water at the bottom. my heat nice and high so that it comes to a boil, and then I'll set it down on simmer so it just simmers to kind of make those veggies nice and soft. Alright, so while that is working its magic, let me tell you a little bit about me, and then we'll go ahead and continue on with my cooking. So I have spent over 10 years in the restaurant industry, from cooking to waitressing, bartending, dishwasher, you name it, I've done it. And I learned quite a lot about cooking and all that from my mother, as well as from my experiences in and out of the kitchen. Echo, my co-star, who is MIA at the moment, is a 10-year-old dog. He is a Black Lab Terrier mix. I rescued him from Providence Animal Rescue League around 6 months of age, and he's been with me by my side ever since. So a lot of what I eat, he eats. But there's a lot of things that humans eat that dogs can't. Again, I mentioned sugar is not really that good. Dairy is not the greatest thing either. They can have it in moderation. Flours are okay, but you want to lean towards like gluten-free flours or wheat flours. So for our next dish, we are going to be making a dog snack or a human cookie, either way you want to look at it. And the beauty of these cookies is they're good for you. They're not full of sugar, they're not full of refined ingredients, because dogs can't process that, and actually humans have a hard time with it too. We just don't believe it. So my cast iron pan's already heating up. I can hear it already boiling, so I'm just going to put it down to a simmer, okay? So we'll drop this down, let that cook there for a little while we make cookies. So first and foremost, for the cookies, you are going to want 2 bananas. So I'm going to go ahead and take my bananas, and I'm just going to mash the bananas up. So you'll notice a lot of the recipes that are on your list either have bananas or applesauce. And that's because bananas are quite delicious just the way they are, and applesauce is as well, and both of which are very good for your furry friends. Much like bananas offer you potassium and vitamins and all that, it also does that for the dogs, your furry friends. Alright, so I got my banana. I'm just going to go ahead and mash it up with my spoon. It's a very ripe banana, and that's kind of what you want to work with here, is really ripe bananas. I'm just going to mash it along here with my spoon, just like this. And once I have it all nice and mashed, whipped together, I'm going to go ahead and add 1.5 cups of oats. Oats, dogs have no issues with whatsoever. They can totally have it, no problems. I'm going to mix that in. And then, I'm not going to go too crazy with mixing, so I want to add peanut butter. I'm going to add in a 1/3 cup of peanut butter. And that's really the glue that's going to hold these cookies together. So the beauty of this cookie is you can eat it just the way it is, without cooking it, or if you cook it, it gives it a little crunch. So my oven is set to 350, and while I mix this up, it's gonna preheat. And this, honestly, this is such a great midnight snack because it's really, really good for you. I mean, oats, peanut butter, and banana, what more could you want? And then the beauty of this is, like I said, you can eat it just the way it is, or you can put it in the oven and it's even better. So, once you have it all mashed up like this, all thoroughly mixed, you're just going to put cookie-sized dollops on your baking pan. Excuse me. My baking pan. All mixed up pretty good here. And then I'm just going to spoon this on to the plate. They're not going to expand very much because there's no baking powder, there's no baking ingredient that's going to make it poof up. So your cookies can kind of be close together because they're not going to get much bigger. They might flatten out a little. That's about it. And my oven is almost ready, so I'm probably just going to put this off to the side and we'll wait a minute while this does its thing, and we'll work on our muffins. I tried out the muffins the other day. Excuse me. And Echo first had one bite and then was like, oh, I'm not sure I like this, but then he ate the whole thing and went for a second one, so clearly he thoroughly enjoyed it. Alright, so I have my cookies. They look pretty good. It tastes really good. Excuse me. Alright. Once your cookies are in your pan, you're going to throw them in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on your oven, at that 350 degrees. So my oven is completely ready to go. I'm going to pop these in. We'll set a timer, and we'll see how they do. Alright, who's got the timer? I got the timer. Alright, so we'll set a timer for 15 minutes. Over here, let's see here. Timer, 15, and start. Alright, the next thing that I want to make, which is really good, and again, I've already tried it, I've tested out the recipe, Echo loves it, is banana blueberry muffins. So this is a great breakfast treat for you and your dog. They're mini muffins, so you just pop them and go. And then you can refrigerate them for up to 4 days or freeze them. If you freeze them, just pop them in the microwave and ta-da, they're delicious, ready to go. So I am again going to use a banana. And all I'm going to do is mash this banana, much like I did for the cookies. You'll notice I'm kind of piling up my veggies and my bananas. I do compost, so all of this stuff's gonna go in the compost pile. I'm not sure if Dot mentioned it, but I have a little homestead here. So I have chickens, I have ducks, I have honeybees, and the compost goes either towards the chickens, who will eat what's in the compost, and the ducks, and whatever's remained will go to the garden. So again, I'm just taking one banana and mashing it up. If you want to double the recipe, 2 bananas works. I'm going to go ahead and take my flour and my baking oats, and I have a teaspoon of baking powder. I'm going to put the teaspoon of baking powder in my flour. Excuse me. And then I'm going to add the egg to my banana. And these are fresh duck eggs from the backyard. For whatever reason, duck eggs and baking are amazing. It's a totally different ball game. But if you don't have duck eggs, regular eggs work. So I'm going to add that 1 egg to my banana, mix it all around. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my oats. So for my oats, I'm just using a 1/2 cup of the quick oats, just like I did for the cookies. Mix that all together. Really awesome. Oops, there's some baking soda in here. Baking powder, excuse me. And then I'm going to add my flour mixture and my baking powder. Okay, so for the flour, you just want to be careful what kind of flour you use. If you do decide to use the white flour that you probably have in your pantry, it's okay, in moderation. If you have the opportunity to go to the store and buy a gluten-free flour, that's your better option. Wheat flour, I've heard mixed reviews. So I've heard good things about wheat flour. and I've heard bad things about wheat flour, so I was kind of concerned with the pros and cons of it. So I just went with a tapioca flour or a rice flour. In this case, it's a mixture of tapioca flour, rice flour, and semolina flour, I believe. It's just a gluten-free flour. All the ingredients in it, I double, triple check to make sure that my dog can eat it because I don't want to harm him. And then after you have this semi-mix, you're going to add a tablespoon of honey and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And if you add a little bit more honey, not the end of the world. So dogs can have honey in moderation. And because it's a small level of honey, it's okay. And then I'm just going to do 2 tablespoons of olive oil. One, 2. Put this over there. I'm mixing this myself and I'm wondering why it's not as liquidy as possible. Well, I forgot to add honey and olive oil. Alright, so then you'll mix it all together. There we go. That's the consistency I was looking for. And it actually looks like a muffin consistency. So your option, you can put this in big muffin tins. It'll take a little bit longer to cook. I personally like the little mini muffins because they are bite-sized treats. And depending on the size of your dog, you probably want bite-sized treats. So that's that. And then I have right here my mini muffin tins. And you do want to line these with paper because it tends to stick to the bottom just because of the ingredients. And once again, because there's such a very limited amount of baking anything in here, there's only a very small amount of baking powder, it's really not going to rise up that much. So you can bake your muffins just the way it is, or you can add some type of fruit. So I tend to like to add blueberries. Of course, rinse your blueberries before you use them. In this case, I like blueberries because just like for humans, they're full of antioxidants, they're full of vitamins, they're full of all sorts of things that are really good for you. And because they're really good for you, they're also really good for the dog. So we're gonna go ahead and add, you can add a cup. I like to add a couple handfuls because they're just that good. And the blueberries in this dish are really going to be what gives you that sweet flavor. So the more you add, the better. Here we go. And we'll mix these delicious things up. If you don't have blueberries on hand, craisins would taste really, really good in this dish. And believe it or not, dogs can have them, again, just in moderation. And because it's in a really mini muffin, they can't really overdo it. But blueberries for sure are like where it's at. Blueberries are very, very good for your dog. They're very, very good for you. So, and then once you're all mixed together, you'll just spoon them in as much as you can fit in those little tiny containers without flipping over your little tiny container. And that's pretty much this one. So this recipe is very easy to make. It's great. These recipes, both of these, the ones that I just did, are great for those leftover bananas that you have at home. If you're not a fan of making the banana bread, which I thoroughly enjoy. But if you don't want to make banana bread, this is your next go-to. And there's nothing harmful in this dish for your dog. Actually, there's some quite beneficial things. Like I said, the blueberries are really good for your dog. And if your dog is like mine, I cannot just give him a blueberry. He will not eat it. He doesn't like it. But I can get him to eat blueberries and expand his palate, even if it's just a little bit, to eat a blueberry muffin. And again, like I said, these are really good for breakfast treats. So if you don't have mini muffin tins, a big muffin tin works just as well. It's just gonna take a little bit longer to cook. And you're gonna put it in the oven at 350 for about 10 to 15 minutes, or until it turns golden brown, which is what you're gonna look for. And again, your blueberry muffin's not gonna rise dramatically, so you can leave it pretty full. Only thing that's gonna happen here is it might poof up a little bit, very, very minimal, and then it's gonna turn that beautiful golden brown when it's done, like a typical muffin would. And these muffins taste really good. Surprisingly, the honey and the blueberries and the bananas add just enough flavor where it's not overly sweet, and it shouldn't be overly sweet because your dog can't digest overly sweet food. Sugars are just not something that they can handle. And then it's fairly healthy for you as well. One, because they're mini. Two, because they're full of bananas, which is full of vitamins and antioxidants. And the blueberries. And I think that's it. I have one extra. Probably could have made one less. Okay. So those are your blueberry muffins. And like I said, once again, we're going to pop this into the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes or until they turn golden brown. So for now, we're going to put this off to the side right here. And I'm going to talk about my other recipes that are on that list that I'm not going to go into making, but I just want to let you know about them. So a dish that I like to give my dog is chicken salad. Chicken salad is a great thing to make at home. You can still make it really flavorful and enjoy it, and your dog can enjoy it too. So there's two ways to make chicken salad. Personally, I like to take a chicken breast or a couple and pop them in the oven. I season them just with dill or something that's another additional spice that's safe to give to your dog. Excuse me. But to be honest, dill is perfectly safe for your dog, and it's super tasty, and it has really nice flavor. So I just like to do chicken and dill, pop it in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes or until it reaches that 160 degrees, so you know it's completely done. Put it in the fridge, let it cool off a little bit. And then for the chicken salad mixture, I do celery. The celery a dog can have, there's no issues whatsoever. You want to leave out any onions because any onions or garlic. Dogs cannot handle that. So leave those spices out. If you want to make a separate version for yourself with onions and garlic, feel free to do that. And then mayonnaise. You can either use mayonnaise or you can use like a low-fat yogurt is really good for a chicken salad. And then the beauty of this dish is for humans, you can put it on bread. Dogs, you kind of want to avoid that bread factor. So we kind of leave that, put that off the side, don't mess with it. So that's pretty much how you make a chicken salad dish. Chicken salad is totally safe to share with your dog so long as it doesn't contain any onions or garlic, and avoid salt and super spices. But if you want to dial it up and add spices to yours, totally cool. Also, when I like my chicken salad, I tend to put grapes in it. Dogs cannot have grapes, so you want to avoid doing that as well. Alright, so I am almost done with my cookies. They're almost ready to come out. When they pop out, we'll throw these in. In the meantime, we're going to head back on over to the stove over here, and I'll show you what's cooking. So come on over. Alright, so right here we have our mixture of, sorry guys, let me do this. We have our mixture of broccoli and carrots, and they're kind of, I can put a fork through them, that's how I know they're pretty good. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to add some olive oil, and then I'm going to let this kind of sear up a bit because I want to roast these a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my temperature up. And let that roast. And let's take a quick peek at my cookies. Oops, sorry, turn the light off. They're looking pretty good in there. Almost done. All right, so in the meantime, we do have some veggies we need to start cutting up so we can get ready for the rest of our dish. I'm gonna put you guys back down over here and get you guys to hang out there. Perfect. So the other things that we're gonna add to our dish, in addition to these delicious tricolored carrots, are some green beans. So all I want to do with the green beans is cut them into manageable pieces. These are fresh green beans, they're not frozen. So all I have to do is add them to my dish and we're pretty good to go. Notice I haven't added any spices to my dish. So I'm gonna wait to add any type of spice until after I dish out my dog portion. Because spices he just can't handle. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my green beans, toss them in there, and everything's gonna roast up together. There we go. And then I'm just gonna mix it around a little bit. Make sure those green beans find their way to the bottom. Alright, so this is a great way to get vegetables in your dog. Because if your dog is anything like mine, he does not like to eat his vegetables whatsoever. So that's what we're going for here. Alrighty, so we are at that point where our cookies are ready to be pulled out of the oven and where muffins are ready to go in. So we're gonna pull the cookies out and see how they look. Ooh, they smell so good. Alright, so you know they're done because they're nice and golden brown. They got a little kind of crispy bliss. Some of them got a little cooked more than the others. So we're gonna let those sit and cool and pop these bad Larry's cute little muffins into the oven. And these are gonna go in for about 10 to 15 minutes as well. So while these cool, put these over here. These ones are already nice and cool. We're gonna give them a try, see how they taste. Quite good. I am not the ultimate test taster though. The dog is. Echo, come here. So let's see if we can get him to come on stage and see if he'll eat them. Echo, come. Echo, you want a cookie? Say you want a cookie and he's like instantly there, huh? You want a cookie? Yeah? Let's show the people if you like it. You're my taste tester. You want to try it? Yeah? What do you think? Oh, oh, oh. Was it good? You want to try another one? We're going to see if he wants to eat a cookie. Maybe another one. So this is how they turn out. They look pretty good. Nice and tasty. A little crispy on the bottom. Now come on, you want another one? You want a cookie? Come here, baby. Do you want a cookie? Can you sit? Sit. Sit. Do you want a cookie? Sit. Sit your butt down. Old man, sit. 10-year-old puppy, sit. No, not speaking. Sit, please. No, sit. No, sit. 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 Sit down. Sit. Sit. No, sit. 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 I go sit. Sit. No, I don't want you to speak. I want you to sit. Sit. Sit down. Sit down. Okay, fine. Clearly he really wants the cookie and he doesn't want to sit. So, there we go. Taste tester. He loves it. Woohoo! Alrighty. So the dog likes it. I like it. Hopefully you like it. Let's wait for the muffins to cook and let's see what's going on in the cast iron pan. Alrighty. So right now our veggies are looking really nice. They're crisping up a little bit here. Right now they have no flavor whatsoever. So what we can do is we're gonna let them crisp up a little bit more. I'm gonna grab a spatula and we're gonna sauce this up a little bit. We're gonna add the turkey, we're gonna add a little chicken stock, and we're gonna go from there. So hold on. So before I go ahead and add in my turkey, I'm gonna add in my power greens. So I have here these wonderful power greens. It's got a little kale, some Swiss chard, some spinach, all things that are really good for you, all things that are really good for your dog. So I'm gonna just grab a handful or so and go ahead and put that in my dish. My power greens. So kale, spinach, red and green Swiss chard. I'm gonna go ahead and pop this open, and I'm just gonna take a handful and put it right in my dish here. So these are actually really, really good for you. They're really good for your dog. This is again one of those things that's good in moderation, but that's okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and flip this over a little. If you don't have a cast iron pan, a regular pan works great. It doesn't have to be cast iron whatsoever. And while this is cooking up, we're gonna peek at our mini muffins. So they're not quite at that level yet. They're certainly getting to that golden brown stage, so they're almost ready to take out. But in the meantime, let's pick this up a little here. So I'm getting that little crisp at the bottom, which is what I like. If you don't like it crispy, you can always just turn your heat down a little bit, but I like the crispiness that the cast iron pan offers. So I'm just gonna spin this up a little bit. And the beauty of this is whatever sticks to the bottom is gonna come up when we add that chicken broth. So speaking of chicken broth, let's let this cook for a minute and let's mix up some chicken broth. So I have here a half a cup of hot water. And I'm gonna go ahead and add some chicken bouillon to it. Alright, so I have here my half a cup of hot water. I have my chicken bouillon. If you have chicken already, chicken stock, you can obviously just add a half a cup directly to your dish. That's totally up to you if you guys want to do that. Move this stuff out of the way for you guys so you guys can see a little better. I'm just gonna add this one bouillon and let it dissolve in this glass of hot water. And whatever doesn't dissolve, which it looks like my water's not hot enough, will dissolve in my dish over here. So while that's working its magic, we're gonna go ahead and spin this up a little. Oh yeah. So this is like the stir fry, healthy, delicious version of vegetables. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of push my veggies off to the side a little. And I'm gonna add in my turkey. So it's just plain Jane, 1 pound of ground turkey. I'm gonna put that right in here, off to the side, and let it cook and add flavor to the veggies. And I did say I'm just cooking for myself, but clearly I'm cooking for an army over here. So let that cook up a little and we'll see what happens. So let me grab my pan. So this dish is actually really good if you want to do it with ground turkey, ground chicken, ground beef. All of those are safe for your dog to eat. I have not researched into tofu, but I do know that my dog will not eat vegetables just the way they are. So it needs to kind of have some type of meat in it. Another really good addition to this dish would be bacon. is really, really good in this. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip my veggies on top of my turkey and get my turkey to mix in there a little. Alright, so while this is working its magic, we're going to check on our muffins. So let's come on over. This is cooking, doing its thing. Our muffins are looking pretty good. Their blueberries are boiling. Things are looking really tasty. So we're going to pull them out. It's looking like that's that time. So they've been in here for a few minutes, probably about 10 to 15 minutes is what your goal is. Pop those on the oven. Look at those. Nice and golden brown. Perfect, just the way we want them. Same thing, the bottom's nice and golden brown. So we're gonna wait for them to cool. And then once they're cool, we're gonna give them to Echo. And he's gonna be our taste tester. He's already thoroughly enjoyed the cookies. Let's see if he enjoys the muffins. So I have some cold muffins that I've had in the fridge. We're gonna go ahead and see if Echo will sit for us one more time. Can you sit? Sit down. Sit. Sit. Yes, sit. No, sit. You really just don't like to sit right now. Sit. Sit. All right, fine, lie down. Come, lie down, 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 down. Good boy. Go ahead, you want a muffin? Oh, is it good? Nice and cold, but pretty yummy. Wow, I guess you really liked your muffin. So that's it. I'd say we did pretty good. He likes the muffin, he likes the cookies. Now all he has to do is like the dinner. Huh? Now all you gotta do is like the dinner. Yeah. Yeah, and you don't sit, but you lie down, you weirdo. Alright, so our turkey over here is cooking up. Echo is already pretty satiated. He's gotten his delicious muffin. He's gotten a cookie. Oh my goodness, he's so spoiled. And I could have used a bigger pan, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and turn my heat up a little bit because I want this to really kind of crisp up, and I want to make sure that all that turkey gets fully cooked. Turkey is not one of those things that you want to eat uncooked. Alright. So let's let this cook up a little bit. So our meat dish is almost pretty much done. We just want to add a little bit of flavor because we don't want to eat boring, plain Jane stuff. So I've come here and this is pretty much cooked. It's all the meat fully cooked over here. I'm going to add two things. So I'm going to add my chicken broth. And what that's going to do is it's going to pick up all of the flavor that's at the bottom of the dish here. And it's going to help finish off that turkey. The second thing that I'm going to add is liquid aminos, which is actually proven to be pretty safe for dogs. There's not much to it. It's basically just a soy alternative. Liquid aminos. It's basically vegetable protein that's made from soybeans and water. And what this does is it adds a little soy sauce flavoring without all that added sugar and all that stuff. So I'm just going to add a little bit of drizzle on top just for that flavor. And I'm going to let this simmer a little bit until I'll reduce all of that liquid. And what this, like I said, is going to do is it's just going to pull up the all the stuff that's stuck to the bottom of the pan, because that's really, really flavorful, and that's really the flavors that I want here. So that's pretty much it. It is completely done. You can go ahead and take a little and put it into a plate and let it cool off a little, and that's what I'm going to give to the dog to see if he enjoys it. In the meantime, I'm going to turn this heat down or off entirely. And the benefit is now that you have your dog dish ready to go, You can either freeze this and keep this solely as a healthy dog food for your dog for the week, or for your cat if you can get your cat to eat the vegetables. If not, you can add salt and pepper to taste for yourself. Your dog really doesn't need salt or pepper, so I wouldn't recommend it. But we're gonna let this cool for a few minutes, and then we're gonna see how Echo likes it. So give me a moment and let me clean up, and we'll see if it likes it. So the last and final thing that we need to do is pretty much just eat. The option you have here is, if you want, you can put this dish over rice or eat it just as is. It's entirely up to you how you want to do this. But of course, I've tried it. I love it. Actually not bland at all, because the vegetables added so much flavor and the turkey is just flavorful enough in itself. So the last thing we need to do is see if the dog likes it. Let's see what he thinks. I think that's I like it. Look at that, he's even eating all his vegetables. Oh my goodness, he's gonna be a member of the Clean Plate Club. Clearly it's a good dish. Usually when Echo eats dinners that I make, he chews around his vegetables. I'm pretty impressed that he's actually licking up all the vegetables, minus a green bean here and there. See, and he eats all the veggies, yay! All right, cool. All right, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Echo entirely approves of this dish. He approved of all the snacks. So I'd say we have a pretty good, happy dog right now. And I hope that you guys try these recipes at home. If you do, for sure, let us know how they worked out. Comment on our YouTube channel, comment on our Facebook channel, and let us know if your animals, your critters at home really enjoyed this dish as much as this critter did. He's still trying to eat the leftovers. Echo, there's nothing left, man. It's all gone. Alrighty, so I hope you enjoyed this. Until the next time we bring a cooking program, hope you enjoyed. Have a good one. Thanks, Dot.